Well, today's episode is going to be a very interesting one. Now, as you know, I have been a bit behind with certain events that I haven't seen. Amongst them, the one I'm going to do is a two-night event that took place at the end of last May, from the 28th and the 29th. We're talking about Prestige Wrestling. As you know, this one had, of course, two of the top wrestling stars of Tokyo Pro Wrestling, Miyu Yamashita and Maki Ito. And of course, we got AEW Dark Elevation, which I'm excited to see what matches have been set, but also a couple of news updates. I'm willing to share what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready with another episode of the Leader Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Leaded Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So, today is June 27th. As you know, we are now a day off away from what we saw one of the most amazing pay-per-views ever, New Japan Pro Wrestling in AEW, Forbidden Door. But as you know, we're back to reality now that it's over, but that's something we will never forget. Now, today I'm going to be reviewing Prestige Wrestling for a two-night event. Now, I will separate them because I don't know how much I'm going to talk. So let's begin with, of course, this one is from Prestige. Roseland 3, Night 1 on May 28th. So let's get started. It opened up with Jack Evans versus Ray Horace. Now, as you know, this is one of those interesting matches. This is the first time for a while we've seen Jack Evans since he was let go by AEW, but he seems he's doing good. But he's facing against a wrestler you have seen on countless occasions. We're talking about Ray Horace. You guys know his reputation, part of the Mexi squad. Also, he is trained by Rey Mysterio's uncle, and this and that. But it was a pretty good match, a bit of the high-flying match. But however, in this case, it was Jack Evans that walked out as the victor. As you know, he is very athletic, much like Ray Horace, but he is the veteran in the game. That's what made him become the winner for this particular match. Next up, we got a very interesting match. We have Scotty 2 Hotty versus Ethan HD. Not Ethan Page of AEW, or All Ego as we call him. But however, this match was very instrumental. As you know, we expected the worm. But however, Ethan HD decided, that she cut through corners by using the ropes. Referee did not see it when he pinned him. But of course, Ethan is trying to prove that he is the far more better wrestler, that Scotty 2 Hotty is just an old guy. Now keep in mind, Scotty 2 Hotty, the only reason he is doing this, doing things in the independence, is because, as you know, we have seen over the entire times of the years how the independent scene has been hot for a long time. And now, looks like he wants to be part of the action. Our next match, we have, of course, Midnight Heat, Ricky Gibson and Eddie Pearl versus Jaden and Derek Shaw. Now, Midnight Heat, as you know, they've been scrutinized by many times by the promotion because they felt that they are the much well-deserving team for the Prestige tag team titles. So they have to go through Jaden and Derek Shaw. Now, Jaden has been dealing with a lot of things in his past. As you know, Alex Zane turned his back on him, but he found a good partner. Seems like things were between Jaden and Derek Shaw were working well. But unfortunately, much like any other things that Midnight Heat does, they cut through corners in order to win the match. That's exactly what happened. Now, our next match, we have Willow Nightingale versus Tail Valkyrie. This was an amazing match to watch. But however, you may have saw what took place. You may have saw on social media. The top ring rope snapped, and Willow Nightingale just went down. She's okay, nothing bad, serious. So they continued on with the match, and Dale Valkyrie finished it up by, how do I say, submitting her and allowing her to win the match. However, uh, ring crew were trying to get the whole thing fixed as fast as possible, but out of nowhere, MV Young, who was scheduled to be in a match in a four-way, decided to show up and decided, let's just screw this, let's just go. So he ended up facing Simiko, Soniko, Akira, and Drells. Now, as you know, I don't know how this was gonna work, but I did not anticipate a whole lot with this match because I was like, I didn't know what to expect because they did not fix the top rope. But MV Young just like, screw it, we're gonna go with it. But there was like some weird maneuvers that kind of didn't fit. But however, I was a bit surprised that Sonico was the victor when he pinned, I think it was MV Young or something, but it was pretty cool. But however, Drelks and Akira continued their little fight outside of the ring. But Sonico has been considered by Prestige Wrestling as their ace. Now there are those are saying that maybe he is going to one day become the Prestige champion. We don't know when that will come true. Now our next match we have Masha Slamovich taking on Tokyo Pro's ace Miyu Yamashita. Now you know this is one of those killer matches you definitely don't want to miss. Now if you guys would say that Masha would be, think again. Miyu Yamashita has is a karate expert. Masha has a bit of the MMA background, but as you know, Yamashita is an amazing striker. That's her. She's dubbed as the Pink Striker. But you know, with those kicks, it's over, and that's exactly what she did with Masha Slamovich. So she took her out completely. Now our next match is for the Prestige Tag Team titles. Now we have Violence is Forever. There, Kevin Koo and Dominic Guarini taking on C4, Cody Shun and what's his name, Guillermo Rosas. I thought this match was pretty fun, despite the fact that these teams. Now, Violence Forever could have been the one team that dethroned, of course, uh, C4. But however, they were able to, of course, retain the titles by pinning Dominic Guarini. But as soon as that was over, all of a sudden, C4 were attacked by Midnight Heat. Now, I did mention this. Midnight Heat felt that they are the much well-deserving team because they feel guys like C4, they're out-of-towners. They are not meant to be there. That's what they're trying to prove. The reason is this. These guys, C4, are from California. And Midnight Heat, they're from the Pacific Northwest, which is the Seattle area, the Washington State area. So that kind of fits in. But the promotion itself is from Oregon. I don't think it matters, but they want to treat it that way. But luckily, Violence Forever kicked the hell out of Midnight Heat. But you know for a fact, this feud between C4 and Midnight Heat is far from over. Next match, we got Alex Shelley versus Tom Lawler. Now, this is a non-title match. Now, keep in mind, if Tom Lawler beats Alex Shelley, who is the Prestige champion, he could get an opportunity of the title. But however, that did not happen. I was so amazed how Alex Shelley was able to overcome a guy who has a bit of a grappling striking technique, and he basically beat Tom Lawler. I was like, wow, what an amazing match. Now, our main event is for the International Princess Championship. This is one of the titles, the mid-card title in Tokyo Pro. We have Mia Yim, the challenger, taking on Maki Ito. Now, we all know Maki Ito. We know what she can do. But the one thing you do not put her in the damn corner. Head her in the damn turnbuckle. She gets crazy. But you know for a fact this match is going to be awesome because Maki Ito is the fan favorite. People love Maki Ito. You know, I know many fans have a lot of high expectations over her. But she actually won the match by pinfall. I was like so impressed with that. So And I think that's pretty much it with night one. I believe it's time to move on with Roseland 3, night 2. Okay, continuing with more on Prestige Wrestling with Roseland 3, night 2. This one took place on the 29th of May. Now, it opened up with the Prestige Championship. We got Challenger Bandito versus Alex Shelley. Now, this is one of those amazing match. This will put like the fan base divided in half, Shelley or Bandito. I think that's pretty cool. But keep in mind, Shelley is the champion. The only thing he needs to do is try to overcome a guy of Bandito's caliber. Now, Bandito has been world champion before, but the real question is, can he pull it off? There were some great moments, great times where he could have won, but however, Alex Shelley proved too much and retained the title. Now, our next match we have MV Young versus Tom Lawler versus Scotty 2 Hotty. Now, as you know, MV Young is a real piece of work, and Scotty 2 Hotty is one of the most recognizable wrestlers of his time. Tom Lawler, we all know his story, all this and that, but it's a pretty fun match. But however, it was Tom Lawler who walked out as victor when he took out Scotty 2 Hotty. But he did show respect to him at the end of the match, showing that he appreciates everything he's done in pro wrestling since he was with WWE. But now he's taking this journey with all of us in the independents. Now, our next match, we have Midnight Heat once again, but this time they did a little promo saying that they find pathetic that C4, a couple of out-of-towners, are the champions. Now, they felt that they are more of the well-deserving champions. Now, keep in mind, a while back, Danhausen presented these two titles, and C4 came out on top. So basically, this is a feud. So once again, he gets into a match with Violence Forever. This match could have gone Violence Forever's way, but if it wasn't for the distraction, they low blow Guarini and used his tights. Referee didn't see it, but however, C4 came out to tell the referee what they saw. However, Midnight Heat did not take that kindly because they had it that C4 have something that they felt it well deserved belonged to them. So it became a brawl between both teams. They had to separate them, but we know for a fact they will be challenging for those titles at the next event later on. I believe that's non-profit, so we'll see what happens then. Now our next match we have is, I believe, Jaden versus Jack Evans. Now Jaden, as you know, he is a fantastic wrestler. I did not expect a whole lot. Now I would have expected Jack Evans to walk out as the victor, but it did not go that way. I have to say Jaden was an amazing wrestler that I get to enjoy watching. So that tells me a lot. So Jaden, he may be the resident superhero, but somehow a guy like him, who people say you're never going to win, heroes never win, but he proved them wrong when he pulled up an upset against Jack Evans. Now our next match, we have Taya Valkyrie versus Masha Slamovich. Now this match was so insane, intensified, as you couldn't possibly imagine. So, you know these two women, what they're capable of. We've seen them individually in their respective promotions, but I did not anticipate enough because I was like, whoa, these two ladies are determined to break each other. However, the match ended in a draw. Now, not time limit draw. They were counted out in 10 when they were knocked out. So basically, no one win, no one lose. So basically, it was like that. Now, Taya tried to get respect from Masha. Masha wasn't having it. So, I really hate to see that. Now, our next match is a Rose City death match between Akira and Drux. This match, oh my god. I'm a fan of Akira because I like how he is, has like that Japanese theme, calling himself Death Samurai, not to mention his theme song, Fight to Survive by Stan Bush, who used that as part of the Blood Sport theme soundtrack. But yeah, but I did not expect a whole lot. But Drelks, he is very insane for what he is. And somehow he was able to pick up the victory. I did not anticipate that either. But he won and walked away, making sure he got the match. Now, our next match, we have Sonico versus Mike Bailey. Now, this match was incredible. This is a pair of the high flyers. Now, Mike Bailey's amazing, as we all know. He's making up for 5 years of lost time. That's what I like about it. But Sonico, as the commentators say, he is becoming the ace of the company. I don't know if he will be able to become the ace. I feel like he has to become the prestige champion. But he pulled up a big upset against Mike Bailey. I did not anticipate he was gonna walk out as the victor. I assumed it was Bailey, but no. Sonico impressed me a whole lot. Now our next match we have Rey Horus versus Jeff Cobb. Now you know this is how it's gonna be. Battle of David versus Goliath. Now Jeff Cobb, as you know, he's a big dude. He could wipe him out. But Rey Horus, who has a big heart, very strong, wasn't going to let that happen until he ended up at the Tour of the Islands. And that ended that way for him. Now, our next match is the match everyone has been waiting for. Miyu Yamashita versus Maki Ito. We know these two, they put up a great match. As you know, we've seen them already. This is not the first time they face off, but it's great. You probably would have expected a whole lot, but as you know, this one ended with Miyu Yamashita winning because you know she's a fantastic striker. But of course, their infamous move, you know, this is Mayu, Maki does this, that means they're still tight as no matter what. So I thought it was a pretty good match. All this and that. Hopefully they return to prestige for more of these guys, but we'll see what happens then. I believe let's just end it right here and move on with AEW Dark Elevation. So here are some news updates for all you Ice Ribbon fan base out there here in the U.S. It's been announced in the Ice Ribbon English Twitter channel that Arisa Shinos, who debuted in Corkin Hall this past on June 26th, is broken her clavicle during her match, so she will be out of action for quite some time. Now I have seen her be in an exhibition match against Asahi. She came up short on that particular match, but hopefully she recovers well. Ice Ribbon and many other wrestlers told her to take a lot of rest, don't try to rush it, which is important. She cannot rush it at all. She is one of the new girls, and I understand that you don't want to miss out, but hopefully she gets better. Now, I mentioned recently in one of my previous news updates on one of the previous episodes, Terminus has announced for their third show so far in July 21st. However, there was no matches that were announced. Well, the first one has been announced on their Twitter page. It's going to be Queen Aminata versus Masha Slamovich. I have to say, this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Now, our last update here, if you guys are big ChocoPro fans, you guys are going to enjoy. Apparently, they put out the schedule on their Twitter page for the upcoming events. Now, this is what we have. July 2nd and 3rd, which is 241 and 242 will take place there. 243, 244 will take place on July 9th and 10th. Episode 246, no, 245 and 246. Well, 245 will take place on the 16th of July. There is no show the following day on the 17th. I'm assuming they're going to take a break or they got other things to do. And then, of course, we got July 23rd, which is 246 on a Saturday. And finally, ChocoPro ends in, of course, on July 24th, which is their season finale on 247. Now, they said that their show starts at 10 a.m. Japanese time. I believe that would be 6 p.m. here in Pacific, and I believe it would be maybe 2 or 3 o'clock Eastern. I'm not 100% sure on that, but they said people will be coming to these shows, and starts can be, and the time will be changes if that is the thing that could happen. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited that they put out the schedule for season 14. So I think that's pretty much it right now. So let's just call it a day. So here are some news updates for all you Ice Ribbon fan base out there here in the U.S. It's been announced in the Ice Ribbon English Twitter channel that Arisa Shinos, who debuted in Corkin Hall this past on June 26th, um, is broken her clavicle during her match, so she will be out of action for quite some time. Now I have seen her be in an exhibition match against Asahi. She came up short on that particular match, but hopefully she recovers well. Ice Ribbon and many other wrestlers told her to take a lot of rest, don't try to rush it, which is important. She cannot rush it at all. She is one of the new girls, and I understand that you don't want to miss out, but hopefully she gets better. Now, I mentioned recently in one of my previous news updates on one of the previous episodes, Terminus has announced for their third show so far in July 21st. However, there was no matches that were announced. Well, the first one has been announced on their Twitter page. It's going to be Queen Aminata versus Masha Slamovich. I have to say this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Now, our last update here, if you guys are big Choco Pro fans, you guys are going to enjoy. Apparently, they put out the schedule on their Twitter page for the upcoming events. Now, this is what we have: July 2nd and 3rd, which is 241 and 242, will take place there. 243, 244 will take place on July 9th and 10th. Episode 246, 245 and 246. Well, 245 will take place on the 16th of July. There is no show the following day on the 17th. I'm assuming they're going to take a break or they got other things to do. And then, of course, we got July 23rd, which is 246 on a Saturday. And finally, ChocoPro ends in, of course, on July 24th, which is their season finale on 247. Now, they said that their show starts at 10 a.m. Japanese time. I believe that would be 6 p.m. here in Pacific, and I believe it would be maybe 2 or 3 o'clock Eastern. I'm not 100% sure on that, but they said people will be coming to these shows, and starts can be, and the time will be changes if that is the thing that could happen. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited that they put out the schedule for season 14. So I think that's pretty much it right now. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. I know that the Prestige Wrestling was only like a month ago, but I decided to do it because I missed it. I had a lot of things coming up. That's the whole thing. I'm trying to debate whether to skip certain events that I haven't seen, or just do the ones that I feel like they're necessary to watch. I'll make that decision as much as possible because, as you guys know, the previous episode that I did, I do believe that's 250, no, 750. I watched the Stardom Fight to the Top. I did not see the two previous shows. Basically, the reason is because I wanted to catch up. However, hopefully, I get to see the next upcoming Stardom event, which is going to happen soon, and I can't wait to follow because we're going to see one of the matches I am mostly interested is Colors, most specifically Saki and Hikari Shimizu teaming up with Mina versus and Unagi to take on 4 members of Queen's Quest, and of course Tam Nakano will be in a second match again, but this time with Natsupoi. So this is going to be one interesting event. So, but however, as for the next episode, we are having Tuesday Wrestling, which is NWA Power, AEW Dark, and of course NXT 2.0, which I'm excited. Haven't decided if I want to throw in an event for the before I do Tuesday Wrestling, but that will be at another time. But right now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.